The bandwidth for this episode of Gun Guy Radio is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network. www.firearmsradio.tv.
Welcome to episode 84 of Gun Guy Radio. This is the podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. And welcome to another Roundtable listener feedback episode. And with us we have Greg Balkin from Tactical Paradise, also found on the Firearms Radio Network. What's up, Greg?
Hi, am I supposed to say hi?
Yeah, we're supposed to banter back and forth here, so.
Got it. Hi, Jake. How are you?
So what you been up to? I heard you went camping, and you went on like this long nature hike that you're supposed to hike how many miles?
60.
60, but
yes.
You decided to take a bus instead.
Yeah, we were going to go 60. We ended up only going 32, and we did some hitchhiking along the way, but it wasn't
not all of you.
No, not all of us, just half of us. So, yeah.
Well, so where can they hear about that story?
They can hear about that on episode 18 of Tactical Paradise, tacticalparadise.com/018.
I've heard it.
You've heard it?
I was going to say, is it too early to be plugging my show on this show?
No.
It's never too early.
Well, very cool. And we have Mike from the God and Guns podcast. Hey, Mike.
Hi. How's it going?
So, how is God?
Well, he is good. I know that.
So, what kind of gun?
Sure.
What kind of gun does he conceal carry now? I don't mean to be flippant here, but
What kind does he conceal carry? I guess any kind he wants, right? He probably conceal carries a 50 BMG of some sort.
I thought he concealed carried Chuck Norris. But.
Touche. That would be his most deadly option.
Absolutely.
Well, and you have a new co-host over there in the God and Guns podcast.
Yeah, Troy. He's been around for going on 4 weeks now. So he's fit right in. He's doing a great job. So we are glad to have Troy, for sure.
Very cool. And we have Steve Remy, our LE senior producer here at the Firearms Radio Network. What's up?
Howdy. How's it going?
Going good. So you had an awesome interview with Vince Buckles a while back. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I reached out to Vince in his shop and got a response back that he was more than willing to do an interview, and got to know him a little bit before and after the interview. He's
on 4 weeks
great
now.
Guy, really down to earth. If you guys haven't listened to it, I highly recommend it. I really wanted to get into what makes Vince and how he got started in this whole gunsmithing journey.
So
and I think we did a fairly good job of covering that. I didn't want to do any controversy stuff, about the show that he's been on or his previous employer, because I wanted to produce something of a higher quality that would give our listeners something to listen to.
Yeah, you definitely did a good job at that. I mean, that's something that I think if anybody follows the show, they've heard enough of, definitely. So it was kind of cool to hear him, talk about himself a little bit.
Yeah, and it's just neat to know things about where people came from, how they got started,
Yeah.
Well, very cool. And we have Hank Hockey, the director of sales at the Firearms Radio Network. Hey, Hank.
How you doing, Jake?
Going good. So you had a recent interview, too, on Gun Guy Radio.
I did. I recently did an interview with Nicole McLean, episode 80, if I remember correctly, and it was good. You guys have to check it out if you haven't already. She's a very interesting woman that's involved a lot throughout the not only firearms but the hunting industry, outdoor industry as a whole, I guess you'd call it.
Very cool. Well, let's dive into the main part of the show here. And forgive me if you're watching live, the camera is not cooperating with me. That's what I've been distracted with here. But we have a few announcements, I guess, here before we get into listener feedback. I guess one thing I want to mention, not really firearm related, I guess, but my wife and I are expecting our fourth, so...
Kazoo noise! Hold the applause till the end.
There it is.
Oh, thank you. Anyways, and we've had some listeners ask, where's the Precision Rifle podcast? So, Kurt and the other guys are still working on that. They've had some tech issues and some other circumstances. So we're looking at still bringing that one forward. But we also have, which you'll hear him next week, Chad Danielson he's a shooting instructor at the Wisconsin Superior University, or University of Wisconsin Superior. There, that's how you say it. And him and his buddy are interested in starting a precision shooting podcast that is like really around the really high end level, almost that collegiate level, the real high end precision stuff that I just can't fathom how precise that is. They shoot like a target the size of a quarter, and a perfect bullseye on it is the size of a pinhead. And there's 10 rings in it for points, so it's pretty amazing stuff. But you can catch that next week on Gun Guy Radio, where we talk about collegiate shooting programs, and it's really an awesome interview. And we're also gearing up here to launch the Firearms Insider, and the Firearms Insider will be a website. We're pretty excited about this. It's going to be a lot of gun and gear reviews, but also a podcast, a blog. It's really almost a community site because it's going to have a community aspect to it, and I'm excited about how we're actually doing the gun and gear reviews. We're doing a very structured kind of a format for them so that you kind of know what you're going to get each time. You're going to get 8 points that we're going to cover in every, like, let's say it's a gun. We're going to cover these 8 points, and we're going to actually score them. So we're going to score them on a 10-point system, and then that will give you like kind of a precise, instead of just a wet finger in the air gun magazine review, it's going to give you a precise like pros, cons, and we're going to talk about like who this gun is marketed to and stuff like that, and kind of dive into all aspects of it. But what's really excited is we're going to try to create it to be almost like a Rotten Tomatoes for guns and gear, where you have your voice, where you can put your own review on it as well, and then we'll get an average. So we'll have like if you've ever been on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a movie review site that you have the critics' reviews and then you have the user reviews. And sometimes those can be drastically different. So sometimes if you're looking for a movie to watch, the critics might all hate it, but then you see the user reviews are, like 80, 90%. So you're like, well, I'll probably go see it. And, so it's going to kind of work the same way. And everyone on the network is going to collaborate on this. So everyone's going to produce reviews, or we're doing something else that's really cool, mini like podcast episodes where we're going to do basically a mini review, and it's going to be like 5 minutes or less in length, so real short and to the point. And with everyone collaborating and pitching in on this, you'll have a constant stream of these mini reviews on this site. So you can always check out new guns and gears stuff. And we're working with a few manufacturers to get new guns in hand as well. So, and different of us will cover different aspects of it. Like maybe Tactical Paradise Greg will cover some tactical stuff. And
no.
Okay, no, that was a dumb idea. I don't know what I was thinking. And
Just paradise
Sorry.
stuff.
Just paradise.
Yeah, that's all.
Tequila and rum and
No, I've got some concealed carry holsters I'd like to review, so we'll get those in there.
awesome. And like I said, it's going to have a blog on it too, where it's going to be another collaborative effort as well, where it's going to cover a wide aspect of topics. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, and several of the people in the network are taking key roles in this to make it work. So I really appreciate everyone, and stay tuned for more info. So let's knock out this listener feedback, and then we're going to just talk guns for a while after that. So, Hank, do you want to read this first one?
All right, from our listener, Chauncey. He says, when I saw your topic of the John Huang episode, I was less than enthusiastic. I am not into AR-15s and more into older handguns, rifles, and shotguns. However, when I listened, I was so impressed with John, and again, you confirmed my thesis that your show really is about entrepreneurship, culture building, and leadership, and only incidentally about guns. One of the best episodes. Thank you, and keep up the great work. Thanks also for the reference to the handgun radio. Ryan seems to have a great love and appreciation for older guns. He fills an important niche for those of us that are not tactically interested or oriented. While I do enjoy your podcast, I do miss the old format with the guys. It was like family.
Well, good thing every few podcasts we're going to have this roundtable discussion where it's kind of the old format with the guys plus some.
Because who knows?
We miss you too,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Chauncey. That has been my favorite episode so far. I remember when he first wrote in several months back saying that it's an entrepreneur podcast disguised as a gun podcast, and I really didn't see it at that time, but I think it's kind of turned into that, and I think we were all just interested in the backstory of a lot of these businesses. And then I'm a huge fan of Ryan over at Handgun Radio as well. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree completely with Chauncey. And so.
Yeah, it was good stuff for sure. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I agree with him. I didn't know much about John before the podcast other than, some conversations, Jake, that you and I had, and it was a great episode. Social media is great. He does a lot of stuff on Facebook, and I like his outlook on life, his take on everything. I enjoy when those come across Facebook as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great. John's entrepreneurial page on Facebook. I forget what it is.
Yes.
So yeah, you know what? I'll find that and link up to that in the show notes here. But good stuff. So TJ writes in and says, "Hey Jake, I just listened to this week's Squib show, which gosh, we haven't put a Squib show out in a long time." He says, I thought you should share this with Zach and check for attachment. Oh, apparently I didn't paste the attachment in. So.
Kind of important. You had one job, Jake.
I guess so. He says Battle Royale was a book written in 96. Also, I thought Red 2 was great. It was just as good or better than the first. Thanks for the network.
I haven't seen the first one yet.
I liked it. Yeah. I haven't seen the second one.
I haven't seen either of them, and when Red 2 came out, everybody that I heard from said, why did they make a Red 2 based on Red 1? So,
right.
So those of you that have seen Red 1, is it good? Is it worth watching?
Yeah, I would totally say it was. Have the other three of you not seen it?
I have not.
No, I've only seen the sequel to Battle Royale.
So it has
Battle Royale with cheese.
With cheese. Anyways, Red, that had what? Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, several other well-known actors in it.
Wasn't Morgan Freeman in it?
He might have been. I don't remember.
I'm just going off the cover, which I can't see, so I'm very helpful.
Yes, you are.
Too bad there's no attachment.
Yeah, I was looking at the attachment.
Hold on, I'll send it to you guys in email. You got it?
You see it?
Ha ha ha. Okay. Okay, wise guy. Steve, you take the next one.
Okay. This one comes from David. He says, "Hey, Jake, I don't know if you heard about the deadly hit-and-run crash that sadly left one person dead and 11 injured out here in Venice Beach, California about a week ago. Shortly afterward, a friend of mine put this automobile control legislation together, and while there's plenty of tongue-in-cheek, it's also a great way of putting much of the proposed gun control laws into perspective, and I just had to send it to you. Feel free to read on air if you'd like."
Well,
So
and
can I read that, or are we getting too political?
I guess this is a little political, but basically talks about automobile free zones and large capacity fuel cells and all new vehicles being sold in the state of California will be limited to no more than 2 cylinders.
Wait, isn't that already a law?
I was going to say, don't you all drive Priuses out there?
Yes.
I guess that's something we should have said in the announcements at the front of the show, Greg, that Greg and then another Greg and then our intern Anthony and myself, we're all doing a California AR-15 episode this next Monday, live on Google Hangouts. So we're going to try to patch up what I got wrong on the previous AR-15 podcast. So yeah,
recommendations.
Don't smuggle AR-15 parts across the border.
Yes.
Anyway, so David, yeah, that was pretty funny. You can check the show notes for his whole. It's like a page long here almost, but it's pretty funny. And he ends it with, "Remember, it's for the children."
Beautiful.
If we could just save one life.
Looks like he copy
That's
and
right.
pasted that from somewhere. That last sentence.
Oh, from our show notes, maybe.
I bet you he did.
So,
That's good stuff.
Mike, you want to take the next one?
So this is from Anonymous. I live in New Hampshire. Glad to see New England represented on the Handgun Radio podcast. Let me say I admire and applaud the stand you are taking to pay attention to the right things in your business first. I have my own business for several years as well, so I understand. In our modern big corporate culture, this kind of thing is far too often given no attention. Stick to it. Don't give up. Aim high. If you miss, you will still be much further than the people who never try, or perhaps worse. Those who try and lose heart. Surround yourself with positive people. Hire people with good attitude, skills you can train for later, but attitude seems to be the thing that is so very hard to find or instill in others. I paid special attention to the QBQ book you mentioned and ordered a copy for myself. Good book. I had just finished a similar book, Leadership and Self-Deception, and he gives an Amazon link, which will be in the show notes. The thing that struck me was that the two complemented each other so well. QBQ filled in the how that the other book was missing, but Leadership covered the why that QBQ never stopped to pick up. I'm very tempted to start something myself on being positive and how to be positive in the world around us. Keep up the work, keep the faith.
Yeah, awesome feedback. I really enjoyed reading this one and
writing it too, right?
And writing it. Well, Mike, it's kind of funny. We were talking about a lot of the same stuff. Mike and I had a little business meeting for FRN this last, I guess it was Labor Day. One of the few times we can get together, actually. Yeah, good stuff. QBQ is a great book, and I really appreciate all your kind words. We're trying to take all the right actions we can to make this work. Another book I want to recommend, since we're talking about books, is A Million Miles in 1,000 Years. And then that's a book that has really affected me a lot in the last couple of weeks, the way I think. And it's about this guy and how he learned to live a better story, basically. So, and it's,
Hey, Jake, Did Josh Coburn's book ever get published? I know he did a Kickstarter deal with that, but that's a lot about, or my understanding during his interview, but that was a lot about positive thought as well. Do we know the status on that book so we can recommend it?
Yeah, let me see if it's on Amazon. Yeah, the Kickstarter is successful. I actually ordered a copy on it, so I have mine. It's a great book. It's a little book with a lot of his quotes. If you follow his Facebook page, he puts up a quote or two a day, and it's just really good stuff. I believe it is heading to Amazon. He's been doing events and book signings and stuff like that. So I really should know because I do. We're friends and we work together with Brownell's stuff quite a bit. So you know what. That's something I'll get back to you with, and maybe we'll share it on the Facebook feed if it's available.
Okay.
I'll put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff all the way around.
I just want to say I also highly recommend that book. I listened to it. I listened to the audiobook, and I definitely highly recommend it. It's
which one? The
1,000,000 miles in 1,000 years. Sorry.
Hey, I'm on Amazon, and it's under Joshua Coburn, Inspiration on Demand.
There you go. Can you paste it in the show notes?
It.
Yeah, sure. And yep, $10.95 hardcover, $9.99 Kindle edition.
All right, very cool. So James writes in, he says, I just listened to episode 80, Limit of 5 Guns. I got to say, Zach, and he says Z-A-K, skip the C on purpose, laugh out loud. Zach? I don't know. Anyways, Zake is way off on the shotgun becoming obsolete. It is the most versatile gun on the other guys' lists. It can be used firing buckshot, birdshot, slug, and all the same magazine fill. Whether it's the competition, home defense, or hunting, and even the ammo length of 2.5 to 3 2 3/4 to 3.5 will help reduce recoil and reach out to touch something. But it's really hard to read this Google document when Hank is pasting something in here and moving the text
up and down.
You just asked me to put it in the show.
But
he didn't ask you to keep deleting and then adding, and then deleting and then adding.
That's right. Can you guys hear me all right? Am I muted?
No,
you're
you
good.
sound fine.
I sound fine. I think my screen... Does it switch between people? Greg, say something. Is it auto switching?
No, it hasn't been.
Mine stopped switching too. I'm stuck on your pretty face.
It's up to the viewer, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Pardon my technical unmute microphone. Hello? Does that work?
Who's calling, please?
Psychic Pizza, can we help you?
Well, Google just updated this to allow for high definition, but I think they're having some quirks with it. So I apologize if you're watching the live feed.
I wonder if every feed in the Hangout has to be chosen for the same option.
No, I think it's just being a little goofy tonight.
I wouldn't want to do that to our listeners or viewers. HD video of me. That's not very nice or appropriate or acceptable.
I respect that.
Anyways, James goes on. He says, but
I don't see any problem with it. I think that my feed looks fine.
I like the mustache, Hank.
Hold it together, Jake.
Yeah, I always knew I'd be in the circus.
Hold it together.
But James says, this is my thoughts, and here are my 5 to 6 with a minimum brand specification. Not sponsored, so name unless needed. What?
He says, so don't name it unless needed.
Oh, whatever. So number 1 is a 22 LR pistol silence for quiet work, 22 LR rifle silence for longer range quiet work. IWI Taver, and 5.56 NATO Canadian legal hunting rifle, depending on season and prey. Caltech RFB 76.
What was that last word of the sentence?
Wow.
It's hey Jake, it's Tavor, right, Hank?
Oh,
Correct.
Yep.
Tavor. Okay. Anyways, you've now you made me lose my spot. So the number 4 is a Caltech RFB 7.62 NATO Canadian length hunting rifle, depending on season and prey. Wow. Caltech RFB 7. Oh, I already said that. Caltech KSG.
2 of them. Needs 2 of them.
Caltech, yes. Need one for each hand. Caltech KSG is his favorite. I can't remember if it has screw-in chokes or not, or any semi-auto 12-gauge for 3-gun or hunting. If you haven't noticed, a proud Canadian trying to free us from occupation. Conceal or open carry and unrestricted of barrel lengths would be nice for handguns and rifles. Also, you guys probably can't get them, but Norinco has a 5.56 bullpup, which that is unrestricted long gun in Canada too. So, that's quite a list.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, but Jake, how are all those guns at shooting chickens and pigs and turkeys, little silhouettes from 300 yards in Canada?
Was there a clap after that sentence?
Yeah, sorry, there's a bug in here.
Hold your applause till the end.
What I'm curious to know now is if the KSG has chokes that you can take. I wouldn't think it would.
I don't think it does.
No, I don't think it does either.
Yeah, I mean, usually you get that just so you can, change them depending on what you're hunting.
Yeah, I think the barrel would be too short to even consider a choke. I mean, if you want something chokeable, then you'd want definitely a longer than a 16.5-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Is that
however long it is? I'm not sure exact length, but it's short.
18 and a half.
Okay.
So not too bad, but you have to remember it is a bullpup, so it does seem shorter on it.
That's true.
All right.
We need to do a review on Caltech KSG for the insider.
Yeah, you know what? I can get my hands on one. So
Really?
yeah,
Is it for sale?
no.
No. How about for rent?
Not in California.
No, that's actually legal in California, which is why it has some enticing appeal to it because of how many rounds it can hold for a shotgun.
Yeah, because so the magazine or the round restrictions don't matter on a shotgun there.
Yeah, well, they consider it a magazine change because you have to switch the lever between the two tubes.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's why it's like that's technically the highest capacity rifle or long gun we can have here in California.
Cool.
So I'd like to get my hands on one. So if any listeners want to sell one, tell Jake and he'll buy it for me. Oh, and can I make another comment?
Yes, absolutely.
No, the next listener says,
Thank you. No, but in Canada, don't they say the Z as Z?
That's right. So what?
So would that change the Zach to Zedek? I don't know.
Yak?
hey, I'm definitely not trying to offend any of our Canadian listeners, but did you guys hear about how they named Canada?
No, how, Mike?
Does it involve Chuck Norris?
Maybe. So Chuck Norris was sitting around a campfire and with 2 of his friends, and they were thinking, well, what should we name it? Well, Chuck Norris said, well, here, let's put some letters in a hat, and we'll pass it around. You draw 1 letter out each. So he shook it up a little bit and passed it around to the first guy. The guy reaches in. C, eh? Okay, you getting it? Next guy pulls a letter out. N, eh? Okay. Nobody's getting it yet?
Oh, we're just letting you.
We get it.
All the way.
We definitely
we're
get
letting
it,
you
Mike.
burn all the way. Keep going.
What's the next one?
The next letter was a D.
A.
Eh?
All right.
We better move on to the next listener.
You are welcome.
Yes. Mike, why don't you go ahead and read Jeff's?
Jeff says, "Hey Jake and guys, originally this week in Guns feedback. I was listening to episode 33 today, and you guys got to talking about one of my favorite topics, women and guns. I, too, find it funny how so many men have it in their heads that women can only shoot or carry .38 Special or smaller. My fiancée just started shooting on a regular basis back in April, and she chooses to carry a .380 auto because of size. But she also has a 9mm that she loves to shoot. I have a Springfield XD45, and when we bought it, she wasn't so sure about 45 ACP. And so it was with the intent of being one of my guns. Happy to say I lost. I lost my XD to her, and she loves to shoot that pistol more than I do, and she's a great shot with it. Just gives me an excuse to get a 1911 for me, which I know she hates. Keep up the great work, guys. Love the show and listen whenever I can." Well, yeah, Jeff, you're pretty lucky there. Hopefully you can get that 1911 too.
That's spot on. I mean, out of all the guns I have, from the small calibers to the large, my wife's favorite is it's the H&K, the USP 40 compact, and she's shot 9s, 40s, and 45s, and she prefers the 40, which is the snappier, but she just likes the feel of the gun. So I think, as mentioned on the show, not to beat that dead horse, but I think some folks do females a disservice when they recommend what they think they should carry versus letting them try it out and go from there.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's all about what they're comfortable with. You know, if they're comfortable shooting that higher caliber, you know, why not let them try it out and see what they think, you know?
That goes for any shooter. I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't need to be a male, female, child. You know, I mean, you name it. I mean, it's personal preference and what everybody feels like. So, you know, we've talked about it before being some of our pet peeves when people try to force a certain style firearm on somebody or a certain caliber, you know. But Jeff had me at women and guns.
He makes some valid points there.
He had me at episode 33.
All right. So Mark Hookham writes in. He says, "Hey guys, you have talked to manufacturer sales and such about the ammo." Or I guess he's asking this: have you talked to manufacturers sales and such about the ammo shortages?
No, I believe he's making that statement.
Oh,
you have.
You have. Okay, apparently
If he was asking a question, it would have a question mark on the end of Jake.
He's reminding you, Jake.
Jake, is it your wife a teacher?
Not at my level. No.
Or she is at your level.
All right. So, anyways, he says you have talked about increase in sales of guns and increase in carry permits, but one thing that I think has been missed is the increase in the number of new shooters, return shooters that used to shoot years ago, women, families, and children. I've seen a huge change in the numbers and segment of people who are shooting where I work, and I'm going to try to research some numbers for you. I was wondering if people working at other ranges across the country are seeing the same changes and increases that I have. So, yeah, let us know. Write it to us, Jake at gunguyradio.com, and let us know if you guys work at a gun store range, what kinds of demographics you're seeing nowadays.
You know, I mean, I'll tell you just from my personal experience and the last few times that I've been at the range, I've been amazed at how many families I've seen there, or husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends. It seems I've seen a lot more couples or groups there than just individuals like I'd seen before in the past.
Well, and we just interviewed a guy on our podcast tonight from California, and he shoots now, but he was kind of in a slump. He grew up around guns, and then he went for a while without shooting and kind of got away from it for quite a while. And then back in, I think he said 2008, he just started getting back into it. So, I mean, I think he's right that, return shooters are increasing and new shooters are increasing. So I think that's definitely happening.
Yeah, and you talk about a sign of the times, especially with the families and children. We interviewed Christian from the Frisco Gun Club, which is set to open here soon in October or November. And they are in the process of selling their pre-memberships, and I'm on their email distro, and what was previously just a single-person membership across every level has now turned into includes spouse and I think 2 or 3 children under, I want to say 21 or 25 years of age. And it didn't used to be like that when they first started selling the memberships. And I think there was probably a huge demand. And I think they met customer demand by including the rest of the family in there, because people said, look, I'd love to go by myself, but I really want to include my spouse and the rest of my family in it. And I think they answered that. So I think that's just a sign of the times, very similar to what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so Ricky Vogel, he writes in, he says, have you guys seen or heard of this product? Is it even a real product? I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts, ideas, or reviews on it. So it's intelliscopes.com. It's a mount for your iPhone to mount to, well, I guess any Picatinny rail. So, but it shows demonstrations with it on, like the top of your AR-15 upper receiver. It's $99, and it allows you to mount your iPhone there, iPhone 4 or iPhone 5, and basically use it like a red dot almost.
And I just downloaded it.
No,
seriously.
you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Here,
Did you?
look at my screen. Yeah. I just went to see if it was real, and I just downloaded it. I mean, you can see it's hard to see on this video a little bit, obviously, with it probably maybe blocked
So
out.
the app is free, but the base is $99.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay.
That's what it looks like. So, I mean, if you see me tilting it, you can see kind of the pendulum.
Huh. So is
the
this
bottom there?
So the question would be, would you want to mount this to the top of your gun? I mean,
well, I'm gonna do it.
If you didn't have insurance on your phone.
Well, I don't have insurance on my phone, and I've dropped it in water twice, submerged, and it's still okay. So
all the more reason you shouldn't put added stress to it.
So I actually contacted IntelliScopes, and they're so kind. They're actually sending out a one for me to review, and so I'm going to share that.
Are they going to send you a working iPhone as well, so you don't have to put your own in there?
I guess that would have been a good question.
Not unless they want it dropped in the water.
Hey, you put things in your pocket.
Well, I tell you what, you
was-
could use Hank's phone since he already has the app.
Wait, Hank,
Yeah.
you have insurance on yours, right?
That's probably a company phone.
No. Yes, I have insurance on it. This is a pretty cool little app, though. I mean, just looking at it, I mean, it's got wind speed on it. You can record your shot. It's got
How does it
illuminate.
judge wind speed?
That's what I was wondering.
It's what some of those kids games though through the microphone it judges.
No,
Like,
I bet
my daughter used to have something that was like blowing up balloons, and you would blow into the microphone, and it would blow up the balloons. And
Yeah, but that's not how you judge wind speed.
I understand that, but obviously there's something in there that knows that there's wind going past it. I don't know how.
What do you call
it's-
it? The wet finger test, Jake?
I wonder if it's the same technology that's in the birthday cake toy my kids have. When they blow on it blows the candles out.
There you go. Brought to you by Fisher Price.
I know, I'm not trying to make fun of them.
Right.
That'd be cool. I mean, if they can make it work and it's, functional.
Well, we're going to review it. We're going to put it up on the Firearms Insider and let you guys see what we find.
I'm telling you, this thing is pretty cool from what I see right now.
You know how it does the wind speed and stuff? It like uses the weather app or something and gets the wind information from it for your area.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I can see that, I guess. It just doesn't show the direction, right? Because it doesn't know which way you're facing.
Yeah,
well, maybe it does.
Well, yes, it does.
Yeah.
It's got latitude and longitude on this. It knows exactly what way you're facing.
Right.
It allows you for display here with the clock, GPS, weapon and ammo that you're using.
How does it know that?
For you put it in.
Is it tapped into the NSA? No, I'm not going to go political.
Yeah. I just tapped on sight in, and it says need to add gun and ammo before sight in. So there's a whole bunch of things that are already,
Yes,
AR-15, NATO 5.56.
You would need a gun before sighting in. You're right.
Correct. You can
So
choose
my
from a whole
question
bunch of
is-
different reticles.
My question is, when the iPhone is not on the mount, does that base act as a rear sight? That would be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
It doesn't
Does
look
it
like
have
it
like
does,
a
though.
delay? Does it have like a delay in video? You know how if you move the iPhone fast, it's kind of like, is there a delay in it? Like, could you use it in a 3-gun competition or something?
We'll find out. Maybe
hold
I'll
on.
take it to one.
Do they have a one for Android?
For what?
Android or BlackBerry?
A what? A what and a what?
Wait,
Yeah,
didn't you used to
yeah,
have
that's
a
what they
BlackBerry?
did. They just. Hey, that was for another job of mine. Yes, the developers decided that BlackBerry is on such a radical decline that they were going to build an app for BlackBerry.
Yeah, nothing but great things to the future of BlackBerry.
Well, I guess this thing could also double as the case for your phone, too, because it comes... It looks like you have to have the case they provide.
Right. It is a case. Yeah, so you would get a case out of it at least, too.
Yeah, because the design on the case is like a open grid looking thing.
Waffle.
So you can,
Oh, yeah.
a waffle, so you can adjust. Make your appropriate adjustments.
To the
So is-
waffle, like
To syrup or how much butter.
how much
you want.
burn it, or not cook it all the way.
Is
Hey,
it
I'm sorry. Steve, was that you asking about the using it for video, like in a 3-gun or whatever?
Yeah.
I just took a sample video with it, and it looks amazing. This thing
Can you
is
send
pretty
that
cool.
video to
So you
the
could
show
almost use
notes?
you could almost use it like a GoPro too. Then
Yeah.
Well, then how would that be different than putting it, like mounting a GoPro on your rifle during 3-gun?
It would be about
Because then you
$400
shoot
cheaper.
Well, yeah, but with the GoPro,
you wouldn't get wind speed.
with the GoPro though, you don't get instant feedback. There's not a video display on that unless you're running like the GoPro app and the Wi-Fi back to another device.
Yeah, but would you be shooting open class? Because it's technically not an optic if it's just a camera, right?
Yeah, I
breaking
don't
all
know.
kinds of rule barriers here.
Hey, that's what addendums are for. Let's see some new addendums to the.
It's not a training tool.
Yeah, I'm shooting
right?
the
It's not- there's-
shooting the I class, the iPhone app
Right.
class.
I mean, if it works, that's kind of cool, though. I mean, you get a case for your phone, another toy to play with. I mean, if it works, I think could be pretty cool.
Yeah, so we'll check it out. So, Greg, can you take Adams?
Yes. So Adam says, "Hey, I have a question for the upcoming Glock episode. I know the Smith and Wesson Sigma SD is the red-headed stepchild of the pistol world. Maybe not. It's not a high point. But I always know it is so close to the Glock design that Smith & Wesson got sued by Glock. Maybe Zach could go through the pros and cons of the Sigma versus Glock." Isn't Zach supposed to be on this episode? Isn't this the upcoming Glock episode?
It is. He told me last night that he was bailing, so we're going to have to tackle this one without him.
Or could we save it for him for later?
Yeah, I tried that before, and
we lose listeners.
We lose listeners. So have you guys heard that before, that Sigma got sued? Smith & Wesson
there
got
was
sued
a lawsuit
for the Now, Glock sues a lot of people for different things, so I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them. I guess they are very similar designs, but if you look at the regular Springfield XD, it looks quite a bit like a Glock as well, except it has different, it has palm, or what do you call it, safety? A 1911 style grip safety.
Grip safety.
There you go. That you put your palm on.
Where's Zach when you need him?
Yeah, I know. What else?
Does anybody know what is this? I haven't even seen the Smith & Wesson Sigma, but
so he lumps. Okay, he lumps these together. He lumps the Smith & Wesson Sigma with the Smith & Wesson SD. They are not the same gun. The SD is a little bit of a halfway point between the Sigma and the M&P line of pistols. So they really have like 3 steps there, and they're polymer pistols. The SD has a little bit nicer, I think it has a nicer trigger, and it has a nicer looking slide on it. There's a few other upgrades it has from the Sigma, I do believe. And SD stands for self-defense, I do believe, on that one. And if you've seen, at least when the SD first came out, if you saw their advertisement for the SD, they were really going after like the home defense gun market with it. Have you guys shot a Smith & Wesson SD? Any of you?
No, not me.
No.
Or a Sigma?
No, but I mean, I'm looking at several images of them, and I don't see how it resembles a Glock. I mean, really enough to get sued over. I mean,
well, it was probably more of a mechanical, patent type thing.
Well, hold on. It's got a trigger. It's got a barrel, trigger guard. No, I'm with. I mean, you're right. It probably has to do with more of the hammerless feature, I guess. I don't know. Or the internals.
Right.
I mean, it would have to be, because there's no way anybody that knew anything about a Glock would look at this and think.
Well, it looks like it disassembles the same as the Glock. It's got the same takedown.
Yeah, those are kind of in the same spot, and it looks similar. But I mean, the grip is totally different. The trigger guard is totally different. I mean, the slide itself is totally different.
but to some people, they all look the same. What it looked like. It look like a Glock. No, okay, moving on. So Jay writes in, he says, "Hey, Jake and company, found the network through the Tactical Paradise podcast. Way to go, Greg."
Hold on. Can you check the IP address? Did this come from Greg?
No.
All right. Well, anyways, he says, about 2 months ago he found that, and now I listen to every show on the network except Tactical. No, I'm joking. Except Top Shot and Big and Wild. Nothing against those shows. I just had to cut a couple of them due to the lack of time.
That was a question.
Due to the lack of time?
It was not a question.
I just had to cut a couple of them.
Stop making fun of my listener. I
Yeah.
got your back, Jay.
Yeah. Hard enough time being a Tactical Paradise list.
That's it. I'm leaving.
All right. So he says, I've bought and inherited a few handguns and rifles so far, but I'm really interested in buying a Glock for everyday carry. I hear all kinds of story and hype about police trade-ins for $300, but the only ones I see online are typically $400 plus FFL. Might as well buy a new one at that point. Is that typically the way they are purchased? Do police departments sell them straight from the station? That would be cool. Hope you can help me out.
Hey, if I can answer this, I'd say to Jay, have you checked out the Springfield XDS? If you're looking at Glocks, might be.
What are they a new sponsor or something?
We better ask Zach about that.
I said Springfield too. I meant the Smith & Wesson Sigma S.
Yeah.
Never mind that.
No, that was just Springfield's version of the SD of the Glock.
Well, hey, back to the question at hand. I can answer this.
Wait. Stop. Greg can answer a question. Let him talk.
Yes. He should have sent this into Tactical Paradise because I got this covered. Because I actually bought a Glock 23 police trade-in, and I have to admit, he's right. I paid my price was $399. That was the best deal I could find on an agency trade-in, and the brand new Glock at a different gun store was $499. So it was $100 difference. And the agency trade-in gun, I had to sort through a pile of them. I had like 4 different, not really a pile, but they brought out 4 that they let me choose from. And they didn't clean them or do anything with them. So I had to just pick out kind of the best one that I could. And then, and they have no history on them usually. They're usually just auctioned off, and they usually buy them by the barrel full or however they get them. But
so you were swapping parts when they weren't looking?
Yeah, pretty much. No, but
that makes me think of there's a Western. Is it Clint Eastwood or where he goes into a gun store and all these 6-shooters, and he maybe it was Good, Bad, and Ugly. It was the ugly guy that did this, but he took apart 2 or 3 of the revolvers and put together the one he wanted the way he wanted.
Yeah. No, but my suggestion, if I had to do it all over again, I would recommend buying new, just because mine came with 1 magazine, and a new Glock usually comes with 2 magazines, and so that's $30 right there.
3
and so
now.
Really, what's that?
3 now.
3 what? It comes with 3 now?
3 mag.
Or
yeah.
3? Oh, does it? Either way. But so I really, for me, when I was looking, the new ones only came with 2, but it really only saved me $70, and I don't know the history of the handgun or anything. I mean, the store couldn't tell me what department it came from or anything like that. And most police departments do take, I would say, good care of their firearms for the most part. I mean, if the armorers do, I guess if you got one straight from an officer that had been there for 10 years, they may not necessarily care for it. But I know, the department that I worked for, we had to change out our springs once a year and stuff like that. So we got most of the parts that could wear out were changed. But my recommendation would be buy a brand new one. And yes, I would say carry a Glock for everyday carry. I carry my Glock 23 and I love it. But I don't know. Maybe does Steve? Do you have anything against Glocks for?
So are you saying the Glock is the only handgun you should carry? Is that one?
No, I'm not saying that.
Is that the sponsor you're pursuing for Tactical Paradise now?
No, I'm not saying at all that Glocks are the best out there, because I mean, I've been trained on a Glock, and so I'm familiar with a Glock, and
I know that so you should carry the gun you're familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, or what you feel comfortable with is what my suggestion would be. I mean, if you feel
and that Greg
comfortable
approves.
with a high point, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, if you want to carry a high point because you feel comfortable with that, then carry it, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, go for it. Carry whatever you want. But
no, I agree with you, Greg. I carry a SIG because I've shot a SIG for the last 12 years, and I'm really familiar with it. Probably the same reason you're comfortable with a Glock. So there's nothing wrong with a Glock. There's nothing wrong with a police trade-in Glock. My big thing on police trade-ins is most of them, aside from some holster wear, because that's where they get a majority of their wear, are probably shot less than many people would think. Depending on the department it came from, they may qualify once a year. They may qualify 4 times a year. But even then, 4 times a year, shooting between 50 and maybe 200 rounds is nothing for a Glock. So, for the most part, the major parts have been maintained by a certified armorer. Police departments are going to keep their guns in the best shape they can, aside from holster wear and maybe some road rash from slips, trips, or falls or fights, something like that. But if you can get a good deal on one, go for a police trade-in by all means, because it's probably going to be in pretty darn good shape when you get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and I think you can come across $300 and $350 police trade-ins when you have a local department unload their old Glocks into the local dealers. Other than that, you're probably not going to see those prices.
Jake, wasn't yours a police trade-in? When you had one?
Yeah, mine, and actually mine I bought on Gunbroker. I mean, this was way back before craziness, but I think it was $350 plus 20 shipping plus 20 FFL, so you're almost up to $400. But
I got a mail flyer today from a local gun store that has some agency trade-ins, and they're asking $430 for them.
$430. Wow.
Yeah, they have their $430, but they raised the price on their normal Glocks. They're up to $599. So, in that point, like Steve said, I mean, it's a good deal. Mine definitely has holster wear on it and stuff, but it shoots fine to me. I mean, I have no problems with it.
Yeah, I mean, that holster wear is something you'd probably put on it anyways, carrying it every day. So what's the big deal? No, for sure.
I would bet that you could walk into a gun store too and negotiate a little bit on that price also. I would think, especially when it comes to used guns, whether it's a agency trade-in or not.
Yeah, that's true. One of the local gun stores for us likes to deal in cash, and they'll make a deal for cash.
Pawn shops will too.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't overlook pawn shops either. Glocks are very common items, and you might even be able to get a used Glock at a pawn shop for less than a police trade-in at a gun shop. So,
well, I mean, I went to Reno last month, and we were just kind of walking up and down the streets, visiting the pawn shops, and there was a brand new car, CW9, and they were wanting $450 for it. Came with an extra mag and everything, and just out of curiosity, I said, "Can I get it for $400?" He's like, "Just a minute." He leans down there, he looks it over. Yeah, sure. And he didn't even really hesitate. He just looked down to see which gun I was talking about.
Yeah, but
yeah, sure.
You said it was a CW9 though. That's the car budget line though.
Well, so that one's only $700 new.
No, they're 45 MSRP.
Well, you know what though? I mean that just goes to a point though with a pawn shop. A pawn shop's not a gun shop. They're there to make money and turn their merchandise no matter what it is, whether it's an old Victrola or a gun or whatever. They probably gave some guy $100 for the damn thing. So anything over that, they're making money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the longer it sits on their shelves, the more it costs them, so that they would, I mean, I've seen them be willing to move. There's a pawn shop here in Plano that puts a lot of stuff up online that they're pretty reasonable prices, and I've negotiated before, and they'll even come down off of those if they know you're in the store, you got cash in your pocket, and you're ready to walk with it. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess we're about to the end of the main topic, or listener feedback. Any final thoughts? Anything you guys wanted to hit on?
What was Mike doing in Reno?
We had a...
or is that not part of the show?
It can be. No, I'm part of a mine... I'm part of a mine rescue team, and we had a competition out there.
Did you say mime rescue?
Yeah.
Hank gets it trapped in a box.
Hey, mimes are people too.
Nice. Next time you're in Reno, you should let me know. That's kind of close to where I live.
How close are you?
I'm 2 hours away, but
oh, okay.
It's worth the drive. Did you go to the Cabela's up there?
No.
Oh. All right.
We didn't have that much free time.
There's no mimes trapped in Cabela's.
No. M-I-N-E.
That's not how you spell it.
I always thought he was an M-I-N-O-R, minor. Mike the Miner.
that likes to break a lot of laws.
The lulls.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right, well, it's time for the Duluth Trading Company spot. How about you do your new ad live, Mike?
No, I can't do them on call.
Come on, do it. Let's go.
I can't do them on call. But you can visit Duluth Trading Company by visiting the link in the show notes, gunguyradio.com/Duluth.
All
Will
right. That'll do. That will do. And Steve, you got some Duluth shirts, right?
I did. I got the Armachillo. And some of you heard our episode shooting with Big Bore Tactical, and it was about 187 degrees outside. And I wore the Armachillo. I had just gotten it that week, so I washed it and wore it, and it worked great. I'm a huge fan of it.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome. So, if you're listening to the audio podcast, this is where we go into the product spotlight with Paul Levy. If you're watching the live show, you can catch this in the same YouTube feed this weekend, Sunday, when Gun Guy Radio releases. Welcome back to the Gun Guy Radio Product Spotlight with our special correspondent from Brownells, Paul Levy. Hey, Paul.
Hi, Jake. How's it going?
How you doing? Well, you know, we should really do like outfit changes or something because, well, you're wearing the Brownells.
Yeah, I got the logo.
Breaks
it up.
But people are going to figure out that we batch these 4 at a time if I don't change my shirt.
Yeah, I can move the banner in the background around. Maybe that'll do it.
Yeah, you got to like mess up your hair like it was windy out or something.
Yeah, we'll try it next time.
So this week, I'm excited to bring you Brownells 1911 magazines. Yep. I didn't even know you guys made your own magazines until...
Yeah, they're fairly new. We came out with these at SHOT Show earlier this year. We just have a standard 7-round and 8-round mag. We found that's what people were looking for. And we just wanted a quality magazine at a solid price point. There's some great 1911 mags out there, but we wanted to be able to cater to everyone that didn't want to pay for a $30, $35 magazine or wanted to be able to buy 3, 5 at a time and not break the bank. So we have like I said, we have a 7 and 8 round. We got the 7 here, the government style, your traditional 1911 mag. But what we did a little different is we applied a Xylan finish to it. It doesn't carry across via audio or video, but the finish is really slick, similar to a Teflon.
Listen deeply, and you can hear the finish.
Yeah, you can hear the follower transition in there. It's a rounded top follower, hybrid feed lips, and this follower's amazingly smooth in here. It's not getting caught anywhere in there. The body's stainless steel, extra power springs in them. The 7-round mag has the welded-on base plate like a standard 7-round magazine. And the 8-round magazine has the polymer base plate, which can be removed for easy cleaning. Both have the witness holes, which are nice and easy to read. And the 8-rounder has marks for the rounds already on there. I don't know if you can see that there. But for a $20 mag and a $25 mag, they have some nice features on them. And they work great. Like I said, the Xylan finish is really smooth. When you load them, you notice it. Of course, we tested them, and ran into no issues with them. Drop free. Pretty solid mags.
Well, and the nice thing about Brownells is you guys run sales quite often. And,
yep.
And they're on sale. When this airs, who knows? But
yep.
But
hopefully that sale's still going.
Yeah. So, $17 and $20, that's really not a bad deal. But if you can't wait, maybe you should go ahead and buy a 3-pack because you can get both the 7 or 8 rounds in 3-packs for a discount.
Yep, we have the 3-packs. And the other bonus with these mags is they're produced by Brownells and they're carried by Brownells. So if you ever have any concerns, return them. It doesn't matter what it's for. If you don't like how they look, if they don't look good in your gun and you have a stainless gun, you don't like the look, just send them back. We don't care.
Well, very cool. And I'm actually going to be working with some of these mags. Larry there at Brownells was so kind to send some out for testing because I have some 1911 Teenies coming in, and so I figured I'd run the Brownells branded mags through them and see if they hold up. No,
There you go.
I know they will, but I was just really curious to try them out because I mean they look great, and
we're pretty pleased with them so far. They're solid mags.
Awesome, Paul. Well, you guys can find these on Brownells and also gunguyradio.com/spotlight. And thank you, Paul, so much, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, no problem. See you then.
We'll jump ahead to the weekly giveaway, which we will do live. And so this week's winner, here we go, is Jody Lang. So Jody Lang, congrats. You won the Gun Guy Radio Brownells $20 gift card. So we'll shoot an email to you and get your address to send that on out.
Hey, Jake, I don't know if anybody else is hearing this, but your mic seems to keep breaking up. Was that Jody Lang?
Jody Lang.
Okay. And anybody else having that problem?
I heard him break up, but I thought it was just me.
Okay.
No, it wasn't just you.
Okay, so...
It'll still sound okay in the recording, though.
Probably not. So you can subscribe to the Gun Guy Radio newsletter, and that's how you get entered to win all these awesome Brownells products and gift cards. So go to gunguyradio.com/winner to subscribe. Again, that's gunguyradio.com/winner. We're to the iTunes reviews. We recently passed 300 iTunes written reviews, which is just kind of blows me away. This podcast, we're at episode 84. So what's on average per episode?
A lot.
3 almost.
All right. Well, a big shout out to everyone that has left a written iTunes review, and please, if you haven't, leave one with the podcast app on your iPhone or with the iTunes application on your Mac or on your PC. Really appreciate it. It helps other people find the show. Appreciate everyone tuning in live. That's something we've been working on. And unfortunately, the camera just is not switching itself tonight. I think I broke it. So I'm sorry if it's stuck on me picking my nose or something when someone else is talking. But we'll try to get that fixed next time. And we're also streaming This Week in Guns live every week, every Thursday night. Usually it's about 9 o'clock Central. And AR-15 podcast as well, usually Monday nights about 9 p.m. Central. So check those out. And Duluth Trading Company. So, Greg, you actually wore some Duluth product on your hiking trip, right?
I did. I actually wore the buck naked underwear on my hiking trip for 5 days with not being able to wash them and trying to put 60 miles on my legs with them. So, no, I have to, honestly, that's one of the big concerns, going backpacking is you don't want any chafing or anything. I'm getting personal here, but, so I was on a big pursuit to find underwear or, briefs that could handle my thunder thighs and all the weather that happens down there. And so I ventured to pursue on behalf. Why are you guys laughing?
Now that our listeners have all thrown up. Hank's holding it back.
We had some live viewers until now.
The weather down there.
I'm being serious though. That so I bought 2 pairs of the Duluth Trading, the Duluth Trading buck naked underwear and wore them. And I have to say I was pleasant. No, I wore 1 pair I switched them out every other day, and I washed them in a lake as best I could, which basically means I soaked them and rinsed them out. And that's backpacking at its finest.
Did
but
the EPA get notified?
No.
How many fish lost their lives?
Hey. The lake was dead after 45 minutes of fishing. We realized there were no fish in the lake.
I wonder why.
But, yeah.
He looks across the shoreline, and there's another guy on the other side.
Hey,
washing out his underwear.
I'm trying to review my underwear here.
The game warden has a warrant for killing fish, Greg.
I just got a text from Duluth Trading Company. They said it's a cease and desist order. You can stop talking right now, Greg. They said, stop.
Well, anyway, it's wicking underwear, so it wicks all the sweat off of you, which is awesome. And to be honest, they advertise not holding the stink, and I have to admit, that they don't stink, especially after 5 days of a lot of sweaty man in them. So, thanks to Duluth Trading.
How many sweaty men were in them?
Sweaty. I meant to say sweaty man. A lot of sweaty man.
You gotta say sweaty though. You gotta say sweaty in there.
Anyway, so Greg, Tactical Paradise stamp of approval on Duluth Trading Buck Naked underwear.
Oh well, they were a sponsor. So
hey Jake, did you want to go over iTunes reviews or no?
No. We only have a couple, so
okay.
But yeah, big shout out to you guys that left them since last episode. We're running up on time. We need to wrap things up because we're recording This Week in Guns live tonight too. So if you're watching live and you want to hang around for This Week in Guns, we actually shut this feed down and start a new one, and hopefully that will fix my camera issue as well, because I've been trying to auto switch it this whole time because it won't switch itself. And our other sponsor is Ryan Cross, Hunter of Design, that has designed all the awesome artwork, including Greg's Tactical Paradise. And,
he did a fabulous job.
The new Firearms. Did you guys see the new Firearms Insider logo?
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites so far. So, that about wraps up the show. So you can send feedback to Jake at gunguyradio.com, and we'll share it in the next feedback roundtable discussion. Or you can record a voicemail message at the SpeakPipe plugin, which is on the right-hand side of gunguyradio.com. And remember to leave that iTunes review. GunGuyRadio.com/iTunes will take you directly there and launch the iTunes app for you. Follow us on Facebook at Gun Guy Radio. Remember, join the NRA and Second Amendment Foundation. And don't forget to check out all the other great shows on the Firearms Radio Network. You can subscribe to the master feed at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. And we just put up a new pilot episode. If you go on over there and check that out, it's let me get the title right here. We Like Shooting 001 Pilot. And these are guys from WeLikeShooting.com. So I let me know what you think of them. We put different pilot episodes up here and kind of test the waters, see what you guys think. So send me some feedback at Jake at firearmsradio.tv. And
just don't test the waters that Greg was hiking through.
Yeah, what lake was that?
I'm not telling.
Lake Ichikaka?
No, it's actually called Five Lakes. People know where that is.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's not the Dead Sea.
No. There's definitely some salt floating in there now, though.
All right. Well, that wraps up the show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Hank. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Steve.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jake.
You're welcome.
Any day.
And we'll see you next week.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.